Yeah, I like the idea of them coming back into this one, trying to almost just take down on the exact same map. So we always talk about the fact that if you play the same team twice, a lot of the time it's the team that lost that comes back, fixes the mistakes, and then is able to turn things around. So I wouldn't say it's completely impossible. At the same time, I am a little bit worried once we get past Bind.
Yeah, most definitely. This is the opportunity for F4Q to take it across the line, starting it out on the defensive side. And look at the amount of utility currently inside of Hook. In fact, Mixwell goes down to his teammate's nade, a shock dart to Athena, lighting him up. He is so low, and the blast pack takes him down. It's all about the Raze utility on this G2 attack. And they've managed to get the man advantage, but they're not happy with just one. They pursue 5K, and they'll get a clean plant out of this.
Yeah, it's a shame he didn't get one with the boombot as well. Then he would have had the full trifecta of kills, every single one.
The Holy Trinity.
The Holy Trinity. Let's bring that back. Something we definitely need to be heard. But only 2 players remaining, trying to make their way back through the defender's spawn. And chances are there's not going to be much here for the side of F4Q.
Yeah, pretty tough round to get anything done in. They're going to be running out of a choke point. There's players ready to dive on them as they come out. The smokes do give them an opportunity. Zumba towards the back side. Kellogg's is taken down. This is a good start, but time is going to start to be a big issue. There's so many angles that they have to clear out. They're going to try to use their smoke to allow them onto the site. Nice kill by Esperanza, tapping the spike. They now have to challenge for this, not knowing if it's being defused. Zumba waiting for them to get close, but Avova hits the shot. A valiant attempt at a 2v4 retake, but G2 close it out.
Yeah, and a strong start for them once again. I think, especially on this map, if G2 get rolling, they take it and then go over to their map choice, I would be very, very worried for F4Q. I'm also going to be looking a little bit more, in terms of my focus, on 5K, because in terms of his performances throughout this series, or throughout the whole tournament, he has been bottom of the board every single map except one, which is, it's kind of worrying when you're looking at this F4Q roster that he's sort of that second duelist, a lot of the time even picking up a Reyna, and although with some agents you're like, oh, they get extra value from the other stuff they have. Well, if he's bottom fragging on a Reyna, don't know what he's bringing.
Yeah, definitely. You don't have the excuse, you don't have the team play to lean back on. Hey, you know, you can be flashing out with those leers, Tom, but it's not going to be the ideal agent if you're not towards the top of the board. And certainly if you're this player, right, is he someone that's jumping towards the top from what we know about it. Now, lots of utility coming out of G2. They want to rush in towards this B site, but F4Q, with the weak pistols, have stacked it up, and they're waiting for the push to come through. So well handled on every single fight. They do lose a player, but it's instantly traded. Again, Zumba has got to make a pretty tough clutch with a shorty.
Yeah, it's basically the worst possible weapon to have in this scenario. I'd be surprised if he pushed is too far forward. I think maybe just going to wait and hope that someone comes pushing into him, maybe gives him that little bit of extra credits, and also, well, he's going to want to die here just to make sure he gets the ultimate orb and the extra credits as well. So we'll see. Maybe he can get something a little bit extra, trying to bait a couple of players in, but ultimately I would be surprised if he gets anything here.
Yeah, he's trying to really play with them here, toy them, try to get them to push him down so he can use the shorty, but in the end, nothing really comes of it. 2-0. G2 having a successful second round. One player dropped is sort of the most that you want to be losing in a round like that.
Yeah, I have to say as well, like looking at the composition change that's come through from G2, I know that you're going to be very happy because you get to see a Viper. And with the initial roster that we saw coming out of G2 when they came up against Fnatic, one of the first matches we saw of this new team, his Viper luck was incredible. I think that's one of the best performances I've ever seen from Mixwell. So
that's
definitely
saying something.
Yeah, definitely an opportunity for him. Yeah, and it wasn't even on a jet, which, well, that's what he was basically known for. The thing that'll be interesting for me is how Kellogg's is going to perform, because I don't think Sage really worked too well for him. I can understand why you'd want it in a composition. It gives you a lot of good opportunities to get after plants, section off certain positions on their memory from when they last played Vision Strikers, because they got 13-1'd on one of those maps. It was Icebox. Is one that I will say they played a pretty weird comp, like no Viper, no Sage, which I didn't enjoy. But yeah, I think that maybe they just decided to block that one from their memory.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is contextually as well. It's about the consistency of how these games are going down, managing to find a map here or there. But so far, although there's been those moments, there's been those rounds, they've never really been able to deliver in the grand scheme of things. Now, though, they're looking to find a strong round. Weapons in their hands over on the F4Q side. And for G2, They're still on the Spectres. They're going to try to close in the distance. Nuke is already on the side. He couldn't even see him, and he's managed to find a double kill. Athena doing his best to try and pull this back, but with a retrieved Phantom, Nukia shuts him down as well. Now the site is there for G2. They've picked up Phantoms, and it's an even retake. In fact, it's in their favor because Zumba's playing with the Judge.
Yeah, again, he's got himself a shotgun on a retake. Definitely not the ideal weapon, and I think he's going to have to hope that Esperanza can find him a little bit of space. And they're going to try and sneak their way through. You can see that it's a little bit wary from the side of G2, trying to look behind, see to check if they're being flanked on, and instead, Mixwell is just going to try and get himself a plant on the other side. But Zumba has already made his way through.
Oh, and that wall's going to allow him to get nice and close with the Judge. He's coming on through, but Mixwell is too quick, shutting him down
go back.
and taking the TP to B. He's going to get the plant out of this, and with 47 health left, this isn't an ideal situation, but if he can get the jump on the other side, this could work out.
Yeah, Esperanza actually hesitated. I think he thought he was going to go through the teleporter again. He didn't want to get fooled with a plant on the other side of the map, but just going to play this close angle, trying to use the poison orb to his advantage. It's patient for Esperanza, though. He's got plenty of time to make his move, doesn't want to risk pushing through any of that utility. And he's going to get the jump on him, but it's Esperanza with the extra HP who will just about get through that round. But again, Mitch, contextually, that's a pretty good round for G2.
Yeah, definitely. And we said that F4Q want to lose one, maybe two players out of that, but this was their chance to farm a little bit of money and to punish G2. Instead, they end up almost losing the round by just a couple points of HP, a missed shot here or there, and it's all down to Nukia with those openings. This man blast packing into the site and managing to do so much. And if Athena didn't decide to go through that smoke, if he played more of what we've seen from some of the other teams and hiding behind the smokes and waiting to go in afterwards, they would have certainly lost this round.
For sure. I think as well, Nukia is one of those players where we saw the peak of him in like early EU. Like he was probably the best player in the entirety of the region, putting up unbelievable stats. He's since maybe been overshadowed a little bit by players like CNED, but realistically, he's one of those players who can definitely take over the game.
Double Judges, Tom. I don't think I've seen a more disgusting buy in my life, and I'm buying it is so applicable. Look at what they're working with. So you've got a Judge over in Lamps, stars down, so they can drag you in as soon as you get close. Like if Nukia tries to blast pack across, he'll get pulled in and then taken down. And then inside Hookah, obviously, I mean, this is the conventional position to hold with this weapon. They're going to try to deal with Bunny a little bit, harass him up, try to get him to leave that position, but they're not moving. F4Q, happy to just sit down and wait for G2 to make a move.
Yeah, playing a lot more passively in this round. No real aggressive positions, and because the Seeker's been popped by Kellogg's, it's going to give them that information. They can take a little bit of control. Esperanza, he's landing the tags, but it's being dodged, baited out. And this close position of Zumba could actually do quite a lot, but they're actually going to force him back a little bit.
Oh, the Judge is just running right in, and a double kill for Zumba. Kellogg's luckily pulling it back. The timing perfect on that flash around the corner, and G2 won't lose hope just yet. The plant can go down on the site, and especially now with Kellogg's taking a third. Advanced positions coming out of Avova. And this is now a really tough retake for F4Q because Bunny still has, had that Judge to work with, upgraded to a Bulldog. Good kill for Avena, but he has no idea that Avova's up close. How is that turret not tagging him? This could be huge for Avova. The lockdown now destroyed. 10 seconds left. They need to plant the spike, and as Avova goes down, that becomes so difficult. F4Q just need to get on to Mixwell before he plants this in. The blast pack play out of Bunny with 50 health. He is so close to being taken down, and through the smoke, Athena will find another 3K, saving F4Q yet again.
Yeah, this was one of those rounds where I think it's just going to be so frustrating for G2. Like, they had opportunities, firstly managing to trade back the initial kills that we saw, but it was just that plant denial coming through from Bunny. I almost wonder if it was just worth Kellogg's just sticking it, just making sure that they had the after plant, giving some of those players in aggressive positions the opportunity to actually get something done in the round, and instead, well, as you mentioned, Athena, he's having a game. Like, already back-to-back 3Ks. Both of those rounds would have gone in the other direction if it wasn't for his individual prowess.
Yeah, you take Athena out of these situations, you up his sensitivity by 0.1. You know, he misses a few of those shots and the round just completely swings. The game, in fact, so far, swings massively in favor of G2. And having been so close to finding these rounds so far, they're going to call a timeout now to work through some of their issues as their economy is really being put to the test on this round. Well, they're actually missing a lot over on the G2 side starting out this attack. So F4Q, although they're facing into a lot of weapons, a lot of the big danger plays that can come out of G2 in terms of clearing out corners don't really exist right now.
Yeah, they are, however, incredibly close to a lot of ultimates. I'm worried to see that showstopper come through in a matter of seconds. I would assume that's where they're going to be. And Kellogg's also got 3 kills in the last round, so he's almost got his Seekers. Again, Nuki, though, well, I guess he doesn't need to go and get the orb. He's already managed to find himself the opener. The nade will push Bunny out the back of the site. He does well to at least stay alive a little bit longer. And he actually gets a kill with the blast back, just throwing it through. However, again, the trades have come back. And more importantly, the Viper's Pit is in play.
Yeah, this is tough for Esperanza. Not an ideal fight. Mixwell about to drop shot Zumba to close out the round. G2 storm the B site. And they've even managed to upgrade to an Odin. Mixwell's taking the Odin on attack side. Okay, I like it. They're going to carry it through. Give it over to Qualdamenta. See what he can make happen. Hey, listen, I don't want to try and take any credit here. Qualdamenta, I watch his demos to figure out how to use this Odin.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what would be some of the better spam spots. I guess if you can make your way into hookah, you can spam all of the close.
So unlucky.
But you can spam all of the lower angles, clear out some of the closer spots. I guess you can also spam into lamps.
Yeah, that's
one
of the main things, but they're not even going near that. They're bringing this Odin over towards B long.
Okay.
The whole team storming it down. They're up against weaker weapons, and they don't want to give any opportunities away. They want to make sure they can just get in here and trade. And look how different it is when they have this utility, the Boombot, to try and clear it out. They've got long control, and now they've even got the B side. I mean, this is they found the one hole in the defense of F4Q.
Yeah, they went for this almost aggressive pincer going down both sides of mid, and there's no one there. And unfortunately, the weapons that they have are not really going to play too much of a part in this round, I'd assume. Nukia in a pretty good space. He's actually going to use a showstopper. Okay, I mean, that's a bit of a surprise.
You're going to have smiles on your faces if you're F4Q now. They just used a showstopper versus, I think it killed a shorty. So, yeah. Hey, I'll take that trade any day of the week. And committing that much and already losing one player, I could have gotten a little bit worse, but luckily it is only Kellogg's default. Overall, a clean enough round out of G2, but that showstopper usage was, let's say it was unnecessary.
I guess it also gave him a chance to actually get out of there just by launching himself backwards, but it
still use the blast back to get out if he wanted to. Yeah,
seems a little bit much.
Managed to get him. It was Athena again with a 3K, but as we come back into the game, obviously we've had a timeout called by F4Q. And on the defensive side, I'm interested to see how things change up. Look at the defense on the A side. There's Astra Stars and Killjoy utility locking it down, and this is going to allow for some early round aggression on B.
It seems like a much more patient hold, though. A default coming out from G2, maybe expecting there to be a little bit of a different stance coming out of the side of F4Q after the timeout. And it is. Bunny's gone for the operator, trying to find a little bit of value in. They're fighting for the extremities, but they've not really come across anything. Just having a few pieces of utility destroyed. And again, G2 look like they might just fall back into this B execute, which has been so successful.
They didn't take the ult orb on Long Tom. I mean, they smoked it off. They had 3 players there. They took the control, and then no one took it.
One of them was Esperanza.
Esperanza was there. Yeah, he has 4 points away. It's a minor detail, but it seems like wasted map control, really. Anyways, G2 are looking towards the B side. They've
a lot of squids.
Get their way back here. Squids absolutely everywhere. Kellogg's on the side already. He knows now there's one player inside the tube. The showstopper not going to connect out of F4Q, and Kellogg's is still lurking around, getting his reload in and ready to challenge for spawn. He needs to hold on to this control for his team, and that is until the Cosmic Divide comes in. Now, they can't really push out of there. Bunny surely not about to make a ludicrous play through this wall, and now they're kind of locked down for a little while. Time is going to start to fade away.
Yeah, 5K doesn't have any of his flashes either, so they can't even like burst back out of the Cosmic Divide, so they're just going to save. They didn't have the right piece of utility, they didn't have the right weaponry either, like an operator going through a screen is just a terrible, terrible idea, so they've just had to fall back. I will say as well, the manner in which Kellogg's is playing this guy is a different breed to what we see from Mixlor. Like, it is not the like it's the same agent, but he is going incredibly aggressive, looking to try and find more openers alongside Nukia, and honestly, I'm really enjoying it. Like, it's a much better style for him.
That was a very good read by G2 as well when it comes down to the late round and putting the Cosmic Divide in. Ooh, the Odin's trying to catch some players fading out into heaven, but F4Q just took in. So what I really liked was you saw, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 seconds left before the spike exploded. That's when the flash came back online over on the Sky side. And as soon as they see that that utility has come out, they pop down the Cosmic Divide and say, all right, guys, how are you going to get through this? And there's pretty much no way. If Bunny had, like, I would say if that guy actually had a Phantom, never mind a Judge, he probably would have tried to entry like that. But it's that flash not being online for 5K that means they instantly say, hey, we're not going to throw an AWP at this and all the utility that we have. Let's just bail out of here. Let's save it for the next round. And G2 get a 5th because of that.
Yeah, I think, again, like, we've got to talk about the sides of the map. Like, you're going to be expecting F4Q to do a lot more damage when it comes to their attack side, but I think they're realizing at this stage we need to grind out some defensive rounds. Like, okay, maybe a 7-5, I don't think they'd be too unhappy with that, but G2 have started to have a pretty good read on the situation. They've had some strong defaults in the early stages of the round, and I feel like they've done quite well to...
Mario, sometimes you'll have a retake and you'll be like, but damn, I wish I had even like a sheriff right now. But the reality is they help you out a lot more than they hurt you.
Again, early shock dart. He's just going to tank it. Okay. And now, actually, if he gets tagged by this at all, Bunny is just going to be completely out of the round. Instead, they're actually going to put it into Hookah. Zomba now left on just 45 HP. He's got to be incredibly careful of the paint shells, and he is just about surviving. Some nasty tags coming through, and Bunny, he's only shooting utility at this point. He's not hit a single member of the opposing side.
Bunny only had 25 armor, so that shock dart lit him up so much. Just the one bullet as they swung out could have taken him down. And the fact that he tanked it, I mean, obviously ADS did on the operator. That could have been a big difference maker at the start, but he's being healed up now. Zumba, not quite in the same boat. He'll get a little bit of heals because they're going to have to rotate over to the A side. That's where G2 are pushing in right now. Nukia seizing all the control yet again. And we've seen Zumba try to hold this position with a Judge. This time he rotates over to play Hookah, and that's when Nukia comes and would have fallen right into his trap. Instead, he's picking up a 3rd kill and dominating the A site. I mean, F4Q, again, facing into a Judge retake, and the Judge only has 11 HP.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, it's just going to be too easy. It's a round and a half from Nukia. A Prime Gaming flawless. He's almost got his ultimate back online once again, and that's been something he's just been able to farm up over quite a few rounds. And I actually, again, I want to look at this map in particular to what we saw last time. I feel like Nukia was almost trying to play Bunny at his own game. Like, I saw a load of rounds where he's like, you know what? I'm going to buy the Judge, and I'm going to blast, and then he just gets shot in the face. So the fact that he's almost just gone, why am I trying to play someone else's map when I'm the best player in the server?
Yeah.
Like, he's looking so much better today. And it also helps that Kellogg's going from Sage to Sky is night and day. Like, he has been fantastic.
100%. The value brought by a Sky, obviously we saw it before, but allowing Mixwell to be on a Viper as well.
Yes.
This composition overall, I am a much bigger fan of. And certainly, G2 are showing that it's working damn well. Buying up so much more space for Nukia to just dash out onto sites. And this time Bunny is in a lot of trouble, tucked up close. That nade's going to force him out. Good shutdown by Kellogg's. He's ready for the back site fight. This is absolutely gorgeous from G2.
Yeah, he's having a game.
50 HP and he's challenging. That's not so good because there's sheriffs on the other side. Probably don't want to get one shot to the body.
Mitch, I'd like to introduce you to Kellogg's. He likes, when he gets 2 kills, he is going for the 3rd. That's not even a question. That happens on every single map, be it after plant, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
The man likes to try and ruin people's days. So, yeah.
Oh, Zumba, I like this. Going through the snake bite, he's going to take the risk, knows that he has to hit that one-shot headshot anyways. But it's Kellogg still hunting with 49 HP against Sheriffs.
They got cash.
And he's going to be punished for it. And so is Mixwell. And now the bravado comes back to slap you. This isn't a round they're going to lose. I mean, I would be very surprised if they did. But look at how much they've lost already. Nukia, far enough away that he won't get one shot, but 5K has a chance up against Coldamenta, knowing that he's here. But the information's being exchanged, hasn't it? 5K just wants to pick up one of these weapons as he runs on out. Oh, are they letting him get it? They're letting him save. Well, I mean, look, we highlight the issues that are potentially there. They continue doing them, and then they get slapped by it. Sure, they win the round, but lost 2 rifles and gave one away to the other team. Was that worth it, Tom?
Probably not. I think we might be seeing maybe a little bit of overconfidence. I also want to add in a horrible caveat.
Yeah.
That was 5K's first 2 kills.
Oh yeah, okay. That's I didn't even notice that. That's a little bit shaky. And you brought up the point earlier about how this guy's been bottom of the scoreboard for the team despite like seconding in as a duelist, and well, and also having a lot of praise around his name. This is a guy you'll hear a lot of conversation around, so we need to see him step it up. And I have to say, I know someone's going to make the comment, well, actually, see, Kellogg's was 1 away from ultimate, so he wanted to go take a fight or die. No, he gave a rifle away. Let's not have that. Nade out of Bunny gets a kill. That might be the first kill I've seen over to, like, that deep in Fountain with a nade at the start of the round. You never see that.
The other thing to add as well is they won this map last time. It's the one map that 5K finished top. So the fact that he's had such a rough start is a really, really bad sign for F4Q on their map choice. And, well, we all saw how Ascent went last time. 7-2, an even trade to start. And already Coldamenter's looking to try and clear out some of these angles. He's still got that Odin.
Yeah, oh, you're dead. You are so dead. Still standing there up against Coldamenter's Odin. Are you crazy? He's going to be able to take a second kill in this round, get the plant in, and strides towards that Hunter's Fury. It's already a 7-2 scoreline. F4Q really need this round, and they've done damage. Nukia and Coldamenta both going to be hit down by down to 70 HP. If F4Q can find a pick, they can commit to this.
He got shot through the wall. He's on 10 HP. He was very nearly dead just from that. The peek out from Mixor, though, is going to drop another. Now, the afterplant still comes down to a possible scenario. 2 players relatively low, or I guess 1 incredibly low, and the peak looking to come back through. The shock dart just inches away. The peak, a single bullet through the wall would do it, and Avina, he's trying his best here, as they do manage to drop 1 more. The problem is now, though, they just don't have the time, and Nukia, he's just going to throw in the ultimate just to make sure that no one can get anywhere near that spike.
Better safe than sorry. I agree with that ult usage there. Puts them on 8 rounds, and yeah, sure, you'd love to have that coming into the last 2, but the reality is securing an 8th is far more important than making that flashy play coming into the next round. This nade kill, I don't think I've ever seen a nade kill there. That's a very aggressive spot to be pulling out a nade, but he had a second player with him helping him out. I
love the attempt to try and save him. They're just like, I'll pop out this Fury. I'll save you. There's no way that he gets out of that alive.
I just thought it was really interesting, though, because he'd already gotten a kill with the Odin. Then he tags you with a drone. The first thing in your head should be, I need to get away. Put as many walls between me and this guy as physically possible. And instead, he was like, I'm going to try push him. Didn't work out.
8-2. It is looking like a very, very different match. Athena, though, he's been the one saving. Great! It's so funny! Damn, I love watching this guy play. It's been a little bit quieter for him this time, but these are the sort of frustrating kills he can pull out. They got to be careful, though. Esperanza's being wrapped on. Avova already managing to find a kill and get himself around the edge of the ultimate. It's not going to catch him here.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's it done, surely. Look at the HP left on Bunny. They're actually going to full wrap to the A site, sending it around to meet up with Coldamenta, who's on his way through Bath. Now, the only danger man here is 5K, and we've seen him have a couple of shaky rounds, but he's here in the steps. He knows they're up close, Vandal in hand. Avova's going to clear him out. No! He's going to go for the plant in the open, and that's an easy kill for 5K. His teammates coming in to help. A flash still online. He will be revealed, but he backs out. Here's the flash around the corner, countering it out, but he's blinded up fully, and Kellogg's was able to turn away.
30 seconds.
Bunny up close. He can get in on them. Right behind on the TP. Tracing them. Just about surviving in the corner. Oh, Coldamenta just needs 1 bullet through that wall, and it would be a free kill. He has no idea how close he was to taking Bunny down.
Yeah, the time is ticking now. 12 seconds left on the clock. He's surrounded by both angles. He's going to at least deny the little utility that is left, but the clock is playing against him at this stage, and, well, it doesn't even matter.
He can get the kill, though! He's so low!
Wall bang? No.
Oh.
He's not going to predict it.
They jump out of Bunny was one of the strangest things I've seen, sure. But we're coming into the final round anyway, so it doesn't really matter. They'd already won the round. Just one bullet.
In his head, he's like, I was here the whole time.
You could have killed me. Just 10 HP, man, stuck in the corner, and that's what defines it. It's the timing, and it's that play coming out of Bunny. He doesn't take the bravado. He doesn't try to go for the headshot, but tucks in the corner, and if he had have been that slight bit more aggressive, if he had been Kellogg's, for example, they'd probably lose that round.
8-3. Still an opportunity. We know that F4Q have a pretty damn good attack side. All right, Bunny. hopping all the way down mid, trying to find something here. He's going to get absolutely nothing off the back of the showstopper, and in fact, they've lost an awful lot of ground. Look at how far they've rotated off. Mixo is starting to lurk his way out onto the site. If Bunny goes down here, they have full control of A.
There's not really been any need for Mixwell's lurk to be shown so far. His pathing is actually unbelievable, but he's running into a judge. If Bunny can manage to find this kill, the timing plays completely against him. Trapped on the side, he didn't know if they could come up behind, and now they're in a lot of trouble because Mixwell pops the Viper's Pit, and he's going to use the judge inside of it. This is going to be a really tough position to try to fight back into. That flash doesn't even reveal him, and he's now just sat up close. One of the rattiest plays you can possibly make. The Hunter's Fury not going to connect on him on the first two. He's all good. Teammate not tagging him up because we've seen a couple of little whiffed utility pieces before. I mean, this is the last round. They have to go for it, but they can't even go through spawn right now. With shock darts and snake bites holding them down in the Viper's Pit, they're pulling in through heaven with three players, excuse me. And Afina going to try to clear out that Viper's Pit, but he's dealt with right away. Mixwell for 3, and the classic out to try and get the 4th. Avova stealing it away. 9 rounds on the board. This has been a very different story to what I expected coming into Bind.
Yeah, it seems like the composition change has been huge, but also some slight underperformances on the other side. As said, 5K, he's just not been up to the same standard as before. He needs to have an incredible second half.
He absolutely does, but before the second half, we're going to throw it over to Bala to get a couple of breakdowns and see exactly how G2 found so much success. I'm really glad Bala chose that round as well, because it just shows you how G2 decide to dedicate their utility. Look at how boxed in they were on the site, and you have to remember they started that round without a boombot, without a drone. So in actually clearing out Hookah, just using a blast pack and a snake bite, the value that they got then for the site push was so much more, and obviously using their Tiger to clear out B long. I love that. A lot of teams will blow their utility and trying to take Hookah control and long, and then they're like, wait, how do we get on the site now? That's a little bit shaky.
Yeah, we've already seen some aggression coming out from G2 as well. They've used an early Hawk to give them the information that there was no one outside B. They instantly repositioned into Hookah, and now they're going to throw out the Tiger to do exactly the same thing on the other side of the map. So that's why they're still sticking with 3 players currently in towards A, and the remainder of the players are currently almost just rotating back and forth from the side of F4Q to make sure they haven't taken a load of control. And even though they haven't, G2 have all the info.
Gotta give huge props to Coldamenta, because I really feel like this guy and the entirety of G2 have such a good read on cycles of utility and where their opponents are at in terms of the util they have available for them at any given time. Finding those gaps not just in the map control, but also in the utility control that their opponents have. And right here as we come into the final 35 seconds, this is going to be a test for G2. They're kind of running out of information in this late stage. F4Q could be literally anywhere, and they're now going to deploy a very valuable pistol piece of utility that gets shut down by a shock dart. 4 on the credits for that drone, and it gets them nothing, and then Bunny goes down. They're naded out, so they can't even get that push in, and now they're going to run into a heavy stack as the rest of G2 start to rotate. This is so well controlled out of the G2 side, and they get a clean win here in the pistol.
That was a beautiful round. Like as said, they get all the early information, all the early control. They don't have to... That's the other thing. They don't use the utility in the early stages of the round on the A side, because they already know, okay, the likelihood is they're going to go for this later take. We have Hookah locked down, so any footsteps from there will be heard. Then they can start pulling their rotations. So they just hold on to the shock dart and the paint shell. So that with 20 seconds left, F4Q go, right guys, let's go into the site, and they're just bombarded with loads of utility. That was a beautiful pistol from G2.
Yeah, and Esperanza already invests into the drone, so he doesn't have like a ghost to play with. He doesn't give a weapon over to his teammates, anything like that. Instead, he's committing on utility, and G2, they just have the playbook right now.
Oh no,
they have it open. That's a little bit awkward, but Kellogg's,
let me in.
As he moves forward, he's going to be having the spike right in front of him. The problem is, he's going to flash out of the smoke. He's up against pistols, and this man doesn't even mind taking a 1vx versus pistols. That's how confident he is, and we already talked about the night and day difference between him on a Sage and on a Skye, and you're seeing it already on the defensive side have so much value for him.
God, this is a confident-looking G2. They want to try and not just win this round, they want to almost disrespect their F4Q and be like, you know what, this is our server at this point. Yeah, we may have had a 9-3 half. I've seen a few people like, oh, but, you know, this is the curse. Oh, I don't know. Maybe the caster curse can add in a little bit, because F4Q need all they can get at this stage, because this is rough.
Yeah, it absolutely is. They've just shut them down with another 4 players left alive on the G2 side, 11-3. Yeah, it's sure it comes close, but at this stage of the game, close doesn't really matter. If you don't get the kills, I don't care if the guy's got 1 HP left. You've got to take them down. F4Q have got to feel so boxed in as well. Imagine the pacing. I wouldn't be surprised if a timeout comes in here, because the reality is they've just been in a position where on the pistol, G2 went, yeah, take all the time you want, no problem, and then countered them. And right here, they've just ran up in their face, completely starved them of any kind of space or map control. Coming into this round, they need to find a solution right away. This is so important. If they lose this, it's over.
But yeah, they would have to win, what, 9 rounds in a row? So I don't think that's the most audacious statement you've ever made.
God damn. That was quick.
You know, I've been practicing. Wow. I've been working hard on that one.
Yeah, you've been doing your times tables. I've been
counting on my fingers. The only problem is after a while, you run out of them.
Use your toes as well.
Yeah. Luckily, below the belt is not on camera anymore, so...
Yep, you got your Hobbit feet out.
I'm the Hobbit. Anyway. Bunny is going to kick things off. Kellogg's, this time his aggression, well, it's not really there. He dies on the B site. A little bit more passive than normal, and ooh, it's close. Zumba only on 12 HP, and he's going to continue the push. But he is caught by Esperanza. The default of F4Q working at least for the moment, but they're being caught by more and more players. They're still just battling into mid. Unfortunately now, there's only 1 man left of Over, and he's not in the best of spots.
Well, Mixwell's coming in to help him, though, in through the spawn with the Spectre in hand. It's not really a great crossfire, though. They're going to have to play their own lives. Not Shock Dart, Snake Bite coming through, but they don't mind. They'll tank it up. Mixwell, good for 1. There's a weapon to be retrieved. Their second kill! Evolver's come out of Bath, and Esperanza has to clutch a 1v2. This should have been F4Q so easily, and in the end, they get slapped in a 2v4. That is unbelievable, and a crushing defeat to put G2 on 12.
Roll on the next one.
Yeah, next map. Next map should be good, yeah.
What we got coming up? I think it's going to be Ascent, right? Ascent. I quite like Ascent. It's a cool map.
It's a good map. It's a nice color scheme. I like it. They still, you know, we pointed it out in the Ignition series way back. You know, the roofs on Ascent, they're flat, so they'll get waterlogged if it rains. But I guess you're in the sky, though. You're above the clouds. So probably outbraining me there.
That's the big play. You just live above the clouds, and then it never rains.
You might be getting sunburnt, though. That's the only problem.
You know.
You and I especially.
I'm made for this with my English and Irish skin.
Yeah, little ginger beards on both of us as well, just to further cement the fact that we cannot handle
come in looking like a tomato every day.
The makeup ladies have a nightmare when they see you come through. Well, it is 12-3, and as much as I don't want to sell false hope here, well, yeah, let me just not sell false hope. Seekers come in, double TP push, Mixwell trading out his teammate. And F4Q, man disadvantage, weaponry disadvantage by quite a bit. No ultis online, and Mixwell even has Viper's Pit that's going to be deployed towards Bath. They're losing every single lane duel. That's going to be one of the better weapons gone for F4Q. Picked back up by Bunny, though. He's managed to find himself a Vandal. Let's see if he can do something with it. This has to be a godlike round from him, or we're looking at map 2. We're looking at map 2, Tom.
Yeah, and then, well, map 2 didn't exactly go well last time when it came for F4Q. They didn't do particularly well on Ascent. 5K, he's had a really rough game. Like, it's been night and day from the last time they played Bind. He was the best player in the server. Now he goes to being completely silent. To keep them in the map, he needs to win a 1v3, 46 HP. And I am not a believer in this whatsoever. He does, however, the second kill.
You might be eating your words, Tom. I mean, Nuke is pretty low HP.
Come on, how much can I curse G2? There is absolutely no way that 5K win this round. Not a chance in hell. In fact, I would be completely gobsmacked if he wins it. And I was correct.
Yeah,
sorry, lads.
You did try your best. Can do this.
Yeah, for sure. I like the fact that we've got 5K switching over to the Sky. I'll be honest, his Reyna, I think he's played 2 maps so far in this tournament, sub 100 ACS, so it was basically worthless. I don't want to be harsh, but, well, I am being harsh. It's not been good for him. So to see him switch over to the Sky, it's been better, but we still need a lot more from him individually. And just as a whole, they got bodied on the last map, and now they go into one where they don't have anywhere near as much success.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a good way to spin a sub 100 ACS Reyna, to be honest. Maybe someone out there is a more positive person than we are, Tom, but As we look towards this push, G2 are actually getting shut down to start with. Mixwell falling. Flash is going to be far removed from the rest of the round, but so are a lot of the F4Q players with the man advantage sitting in their favor. Nukia is just sitting all the way back inside of B main, letting them walk through to try to take the fight. And interestingly, he walked up, he walled off spawn, and then he runs right back to cover this flank and play what is a very nice reaction play off Coldamenta's contact.
For now, at least, they're having to take at least a little bit of the time to just try and break through the wall. They have managed to smoke off Nuki, but the fact is, he's still just going to be waiting on the edge. You can hear the footsteps, and a lot of time has gone. Coldament is going to fall, and now his teammates are actually getting pinched. He needs to come in on a flank, almost baiting his team a little bit here. Nuki, maybe he can win the round. I don't think they'll mind. He's going to stop them defusing the spike, and I think the time's too far gone. It's going to be incredibly close with the defuse, but they haven't got it. It's not happening this time. Nuki might let his teammates die, but he will still come in with the Red Bull clutch.
Yeah, that really quick shot that he hit onto the diffuser, they had to dive on it straight away, and unfortunately the player going for it was Zumba, who was already so low from the 2 kills he found earlier. That's a 1-0 for G2 and a start that F4Q really did not want to give away to their opponents after the devastating scoreline in the previous map. Even a pistol round could be so important for them.
Yeah, especially when you consider last time they just got boomed by the side of G2. Like, it was a very, very rough map for them. So, yeah, anything they could have got would have been great. Instead, they're actually going to just take a full eco. Nothing invested. Just try and make sure that their next round buy is going to be as good as possible. You can see G2 fighting for some of the early orb control. By the looks of it, they're going to go straight into A, which is stacked.
Yeah, but stacked up by Classics shouldn't really be a problem, and Kellogg's is certainly playing the confident style we saw from him on the previous map. This time, he will be punished, though. 1 weapon dropped already. F4Q just want to find another kill, but they cannot. And what could have been a little bit of impact for them, a dent in the G2 economy, turns out to be a pretty clean round for the attackers.
Yeah, considering they invested nothing, like a kill is something at least. Like, it's not anything to write home about, but at least maybe gets an extra ultimate orb, puts a little bit extra credits in the pockets, but this is where things become a little bit different.
And speaking about ult orbs, when you see Kellogg's playing that aggressive on a Jet this early on in the bonus rounds, it makes a lot more sense than what we saw out of Sky. Because if you can get that Blade Storm online, it is absolutely worth dying, even if you gave your opponent a Spectre just to have the Blade Storm. Sadly, he's a little far away from it.
Yeah, they've spread the kills a little too evenly to have any of those ultimates online. They are, however, just going to burst straight into the site, and he's leading the charge. He's already on site B, and I don't even know if they realized it, but Esperanza, it's a bit of a whip. He does manage to get away with the kill. He picked the wrong angle. I think they thought he was in the corner. That's a huge mistake from G2. Coldamenta at least puts 1 in the dirt, but with the flank coming through fast, the spike at least on the site, but the second they attempt to plant, they know they're going to go down, so Kellogg's just attempting to do as much damage as possible, and Coldamenta, hey, he's made it costly. Can he do anything more? No.
Still, 3 kills, fantastic for G2, and they got nothing out of Kellogg's, completely bypassing the Astra utility, the Nano Swarms. They were all there to stop you from getting to the site. The problem was, they were pretty much playing a retake, so even when Kellogg's gets on the site, there's no one there for him to kill or to catch off guard, and they bypassed Esperanza, who somehow, despite an incredible whiff to start with, ends up getting away with a double kill.
He was invisible. It's
apparently, yeah.
Like everybody was saying that Sova's obviously very underpowered, so they decided to give him invisibility.
Yeah, if you stand still long enough, you become see-through. Makes a lot of sense. Definitely want that in the game.
Actually a T-Rex, in case you were wondering.
Oh, well, so far, he might not be able to see the F4Q lineup because they've had a tough time getting off the starting block, making any moves in this series. But they have got around on the board now. The problem is, this is where G2 buy back up. Kellogg's, as we mentioned, playing that Blade Storm in the early rounds is fantastic. And now that his teammates have rifles, he'll just keep his money nice and low and pull out those blades.
Yeah, it's a side of the map where a lot of the time you're not even going to see him invest into an operator either. He's incredibly aggressive. He's the person who takes a lot of space for the side, especially if you see him on an A-site execution. He's probably just going to jump into his own smokes. Now, you've got, of course, the utility through from Athena into mid. So that's at least delaying them a little bit, but they've not actually found anything off the back of it. So they can't just leave this position on the map open anymore. And more importantly, with only 1 player actually defending B within the site, a single kill here could actually be enough for G2.
Let's see what they can find. Athena has been absolutely huge for this team, but Cole Dementa shuts him down. Kellogg's caught on the dash over, but traded out immediately. And this is, again, textbook Valorant coming out of G2. F4Q having all the weapons they could possibly want, and, well, they only get the one kill for it, and that was onto Kellogg's, who had a Sheriff and a Bladestorm.
I still feel like F4Q had a lot more information there to at least rotate one more player in.
Sure.
Like, to leave it onto just your Killjoy within the back of the site, like, especially against a Bladestorm, he's screwed. Even if he manages to somehow pick Kellogg's out of the air, he's then got to swing back down to the player. And sure, it's a good execution from G2 using that to their advantage, but I almost wanted Esperanza to actually go into the site and help his teammate rather than just being like, oh no, I am smoked. I will sit here and wait.
The synergy is something I love, though. The fact the second Kellogg's updrafts on the site, Cole Dementa is swinging. One of them will get that kill. I imagine how hard that is for Athena to hit B main and then immediately flick above the switch. It's not going to happen the majority of the time. And then, sure, Kellogg's goes on the side and dies, but is traded immediately. He technically, you know, scoreboard analysts would say he did nothing in that round. But in fact, he was the key player despite getting no kills and I think no damage, actually.
He was the distraction.
Exactly, yeah.
Someone has to do it.
That's my role.
Oh, no, you're just spamming a wall with an OD the entire half.
It's a distraction. They can't hear the steps. Now, Zuma, he's inside the smoke on the other side, but only with a classic man. If there was any other weapon, anything, even a shorty, he would have ended up with a kill there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's not a bad play.
Spike planted.
Well, he could have probably tried to walk through. I love he waits till the second the door is down and it's like, I now want to be there.
Well, yeah, especially in a round like this. The remaining two players do look like they're just playing for exits. I have a... I was thinking there is a very small world where he somehow manages to get past before Mixwell actually throws the flash, but instead 4-1, G2 keeping things very clean once again. I'll be honest, even though the scoreline is not that far apart, I'm very worried, and with the Prime Gaming Flawless coming through, like, the financial state already of G2 is going to be in a very good spot.
That was a gorgeous little spray down. We have to say, you know, Prime Gaming Flawless is fantastic, but the other rounds that they've had, they've lost like one player, and even then it was like Kellogg's who had used his ultimate, so he didn't even buy a rifle. They have so much money on the G2 side. Look at the credits. They're stacked high, considering they're fully invested. Now, the only thing is, F4Q have got Bunny on his ulti. Showstopper's available, and that could be a huge difference maker. Obviously, we know the impact that a lockdown can have in retaking the A site. They might not even need to retake it if G2 decide to go towards there and run into the Showstopper.
Yeah, for now at least, a bit of a slower round from G2. They've gone for quite a few quick executions, bypassing a lot of the utility. I like the fact that F4Q have decided to take a little bit of extra space and put themselves in a spot where they can at least lock down some of the portions of the map. The fact is, though, G2 have been very methodical. They have a lot of agents that are able to find them information before they go pushing through. They also have Kellogg's, who will just go walking through, and it's actually a bit of an awkward battle. He's going to get, or he's going to lose that opening duel.
Out of the charges.
Yep, this was the little bit of a lurk play. The problem is Nukia can get the res in if they gain control over the site. Zumba in with a double, but with Kellogg's brought back online, they're not that far behind on the G2 side. The problem is they have to split in through middle. They've got to meet up as a three-man and then deal with these side players. But F4Q are bunkered down and taking the fights beautifully. Esperanza pretty much guaranteeing them this round, and there it is. A second for F4Q, and this was one they desperately needed because they could not allow G2 to just run away with the early half.
I like it. Decent adaptation, switching Killjoy over to the other side of the map, having a supportive player there in Aspect, and then also taking some control. Like, not just allowing a lot of these positions to be given freely over to G2, because B main hasn't really been a point of contention. I also don't think that anybody on G2 expected them to be that far forward. So, decent round for F4Q. Again, though, I sort of consider this as, okay, they three-man stacked B, they got aggressive, and it worked. Is that something that will work consistently? We'll have to wait and see.
If Kellogg's was expecting the ludicrous play of jumping up on top of the switch. I mean, you can't really expect that because why would someone do that? But if he caught that kill, they'd lose the round because it would have been an easy mid-split, still would have had Rez online, and you wouldn't have been able to isolate the duels on site because timing wouldn't have been as off. That was a good round from F4Q, getting it on the board, but I need to see something more concrete. And I know the round was sort of convincing, so it seems odd, but it's in the setup, and it's in the fact that there was such a small crack there to be exploited, and this is the problem. Now that 5K is down, you've just got a completely isolated Zumba, but G2 aren't even looking to go towards the B site. Athena finds that out by taking down Kellogg's on short.
Yeah, good couple of kills. They managed to catch Nuki on the top of the wall as well. Coldamenta, I think he's been spotted around this area, being caught out by some of the utility that was left there by Athena. And now, as they try and push into the site with the ultimates currently available for F4Q, this is going to be a really tough take, and they actually don't expect Esperanza to be here. Mixer with a flash in hand is fallen flat for G2. This looking like a good round for F4Q. 4 players survive, and they have their third onto the board.
Bunny pops the showstopper when there's 3 players rushing towards the site, and he gets the last kill of the round with it. That was a little bit of a disjointed push from G2, and it's funny because we haven't seen that from them over on the previous map. Now looking a little bit shakier, but you have to give props to F4Q for shutting that down, for crunching in on that push. And it's not even that they isolated one push necessarily. It was that little flank and timing by Esperanza that opens up so much room for them to close it out.
Yeah, they're starting to predict some of the plays as well from G2.
Nobody's really being strict and sticking to protocols, but now that's where this is going to change and where G2 become a different beast to deal with. Avova already setting himself up for a little bit of a lurk play, and we talk about Mixwell's lurk on Bind on Viper, but Avova can get so much done when he is off the leash. You heard it from G2. I think it was Goldamenta who was saying that Avova might be one of the best controllers in the world.
Well, the other thing as well here is you've got Mixwell, one away from the Seekers, and a Hunter's Fury, which those two in combination with each other, if he can get the orb, it's basically a free kill because you know where the player's going to be roughly, and you can just hunt him down through the wall. So we'll have to see how that goes. They've sent a lot of utility early in towards the B site, trying to almost bait the fact that they're going to be on that side of the map. But in the meantime, they've gone into mid, they've droned onto short, and they're starting to take quite a bit of control here.
And that pistol on Kellogg's is the one that's leading the charge. Away the fact that he hasn't got much to deal with, but what Zumba might not know is he has a teammate with him. The hairdo kind of gave him away there, unfortunately. Saw a little something poking up above. Kellogg's goes in for another, and Buddy's taken down. Hunter's Fury trying to find Esperanza, and now they know exactly where he is. Mixwell gets blindsided by 5K and still wins the duel. G2 are back with 5 on the board and a near flawless round after that pause.
I love how the idea was something along the lines of like getting those Seekers online and combining it with the Hunter's Fury, and then Kellogg's goes, or I could just shoot 2 people in the head with a sheriff. Like,
walk in short, mate.
I do like the idea that there's probably a moment where you just have Coldamenta coming up with these like beautiful strategies, and Kellogg's goes, or this?
I think Bunny got blinded, hit by a Hunter's Fury, and shot in the head by a sheriff, literally in the same second as well. Like, that guy just he did not have a good round. Yeah. He was taking it from all sides on that one, unfortunately. Not much he could really do. G2 looking good in that round, and the question is, do F4Q have an answer now? Because their economy is kind of in the dumps. Look at 5K. He's playing this one with a Spectre, and you're having a Judge pulled out by Bunny. And look at where he's using it as well.
Wait, Bunny has a Judge? No way.
Oh, you're nasty. Absolutely nasty.
I also like the fake smoke as well. It's just going to make things so much worse for him as he goes peeking through. Kellogg's another entry, but the trade's coming back thick and fast. His Jewel is everything, and Kellogg's is on this round. Turns into a 2 versus 2. Has to try and retrieve the spike, which he will. 5K actually taking a bit of a swing here, and well, he can't afford to go down.
And they're both so low here. All that F4Q need to do is group up and take these fights together. 5K on 30 HP. Surely not about to swing into that. Now it's a 1 versus 2, and this becomes so much more winnable, especially because as they get this plant in, Kellogg's has his Blade Storm. Oh, they might not even be needed. The flash confirms exactly where Bunny is. And nade in hand, though, Tom, this could do a lot for Bunny. If he can land the nade in the right place on either player, that is a guaranteed kill in the play.
He had the idea, just literally 0.2 of a second. And he would have actually spotted, but I don't know if he would have been able to correct to hit the shot anyway, but that is just heartbreaking. And again, it's a round that actually starts off pretty well. Like, a lot of the duels going the way. I think Athena finding a couple of kills here and there. But it's just the timing of the swings. I think spotting the player in mid, that gave 5K the full sense of security of like, oh, okay, I've seen him in mid. I can walk here quicker than he can run all the way through. And instead, Mixo was just like, well, I'll just wait here then.
A guy that desperately needs a shout out because I've heard so much criticism when it comes to EMEA and EU in particular is Kellogg's. As a Jet, sure, he doesn't typically put up the same numbers as someone like, let's say, CNED, but you see the value he's bringing to the team. And in that round right there, that's Kellogg's round. The fact that he gets so much space on the A side, that's why 5K is even going towards B at the end of the round without Bunny, because Bunny is still paranoid about this Kellogg's guy coming up behind and taking them down. A lot of utility burned up to start this round out, and F4Q have fully rotated into position. They've got weaker weapons, but they're going to have 5 players on A. Luckily, G2 aren't going to commit.
Yeah, we'll just look at Kellogg's again. He's already making a sneaky play through in towards the B site. There is going to be the rotation coming through from Athena, and he will make it into the site at least, but again, it almost looks like it's going to come down to this solo play. He does have a little bit of support from Esperanza, and for G2 there's still a lot of time on the clock, so they don't really have to take too much of a risk. Instead, they're going to use the Cosmic Divide to section off these angles, and you can already see Coldamenta attempting to try and watch the cross, and this time they will check the angle on the switch.
So good, man. Oh, hello. And goodbye. The timings, the understanding of the utility cycles in play for G2 is absolutely beautiful to watch. We get another Prime Gaming flawless out of this team. Sure, they weren't against the best of buys, but the fact that they bait out the full rotations to the A site, they move back. Now, at the start of the round, Coldamenta had used up his recon arrow. Then he swaps it over, waits, the 40 seconds, 45, for the rotation to come from A, the fake, the rotate over, and as the team gets there, his recon is back online. All this cycling utility is ready to go for this execute, and F4Q are only just arriving back on the site that they'd abandoned, thinking they were about to get an A play. You don't see that from a lot of teams, and I'm loving it from G2. We've seen it since the very start of this tournament, but this series in particular, I feel like they're so much more polished.
Yeah, they're also doing incredibly well just to bait rotations. Like, sure, that was a pistol round, but we saw it in the round before as well in the 2 versus 2. Just pull players into the spots. The slow's going to hold them back. It's not going to connect with the knives, but then luckily he's got a rifle to play with as well. And actually, we don't see Athena peek off the turret. Maybe they won't expect him to be here because I don't think he was spotted on the cross.
Oh, it's such a good play by Athena, but they don't push afterwards, so of course he comes out to mid. He's trying to hunt them down, thinking this is another fake, like the last 2 rounds we saw, that they would pressure B and go back to A. And he made the right call, because that's exactly what they're doing. But it's Kellogg's feeling the freedom to sit there and say, hey, they're going to push me, they're going to take space, and if they don't, oh, cool, I'll just flank them late in the round. And he might still be doing that even after catching them.
But that's the thing. He could even just run into the B site and die at this point. Yep. And if he holds an extra player over, that's enough.
Oh, the cycling utility we've talked about, that wall's about to break. As they push into the A site, that's where all the attention goes towards on F4Q. The wall breaks, and up comes Kellogg's behind. They've won the round already. Oh, 5K! Okay, that's beautiful. But then the flank comes in. It is the safety net, the security that is constantly there, and it feels like G2 are thinking about this game, thinking about this map on a higher level than where F4Q are at.
Yeah, they're pulling the strings, I think is the best way to put it. They're leaving players behind in every single lurk. We haven't just seen like all-in plays from G2. And a lot of the time, as said, when they go for executions, Kellogg's is normally the initiator player. He's the one going into the site, popping into the smokes.
Dashes onto B, we've seen it all.
But this time, he's left behind. And it's just those niche little calls that are coming through, be it from him individually or Coldamenta, or maybe someone else is pulling the strings. But the fact is G2 have been phenomenal in this half, and F4Q have just been following their script.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but coming into round 12, this is the first time we've seen Kellogg's pull out that operator on the Jet.
Hasn't needed it.
It just shows the depth. The playbook is so deep here, and we heard from Coldamenta as well in the interview earlier on that they have put a lot of time into this game, and they have really tried to develop their strats and push further, and you can see that legwork is paying off tenfold. In fact, that operator's only in play because they've got the extra economy to try and find the opening kill. When that doesn't happen, they throw it away, go back to the Phantom, and why not, considering how much value Kellogg's has found on this map so far.
Yeah, we've seen the drone come into mid, but it's found very little. There's still no information. In fact, it almost looks like a full A-site retake currently in play for F4Q. They're going to try and hold on to Tree, deny that spot, but I'm not sure how confident I am in a retake at this stage. They have weaker weaponry. Utilities also diminished a little bit, so I almost worry that if they just let this site go for free, it's going to be too easy for G2.
Yeah, it may well be. I mean, that lockdown, I think, has been online since round 4 or so, and F4Q have not had the opportunity because retakes haven't really existed, bar that one that we saw at a 5K, a 10 to 1v4, and the flank came through. Now, on this one, they're going to throw everything they've got on it. There's a cosmic divide to work with, but as soon as they try to get into position, there are 4 players here to crunch in. Mixwell leading the charge on that, and this is looking disgusting. F4Q not really having a chance. Surely Nukia still with a res to play with. He goes down, and now Kellogg's needs to do it all. Maybe a little bit too much bravado out of G2, and an opportunity for F4Q to take it, but once again, the safety net of Kellogg's comes into play. 9-3 at the first half. And look, I saw Ocelot tweet out after their last game that I'm pretty sure it was their last game, where he said, like, oh, we wanted 8 rounds. We didn't want 9. You want to avoid that 9-3 curse. Maybe this could come back to bite them, Tom. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I would say I'd be very surprised at this stage with how things have actually been going in this matchup, but you know what? G2 looking unstoppable. F4Q, they need a miracle, they need a curse, they need something.
They absolutely do. And once again, to break down G2's spectacular first half, we've got Bala standing by. Thank you so much, Bala. Seeing how strong G2 have become in just a matter of days makes me think of some of these other teams like Supermassive Blaze that we haven't seen for a little while. You know, these guys, they're sat back there. They're working on the strap book and deepening it up. And you can see series to series, so we are thankful enough to have a direct comparison of G2 in this series the first time, and the second, they look a whole lot better this time around. But maybe F4Q can dig deep and pull something off here on the attack to get us all the way to map 3, where Sean said earlier that he could see it going F4Q's way.
Yeah, we definitely got to get there first.
Yeah, that's the problem.
A bit of a mountain to climb to see that one, but you know, we'll see if the curse of 9-3 is going to come back to haunt them and maybe give us a slightly longer series today. I feel like people are trying to get us out of here as fast as humanly possible, but for now, we're going to see this attempt to fight back into middle. Kellogg's, he still has his dash online, and Coldamenta, it almost seems like the last map. They are just fighting and taking every single piece of map control. The question is, did he thread the needle here past Zumba?
He's not. He's going to be caught on the way, and I like the fact that he's not continuing the aggression, pulling back towards the A site. Doesn't want to just run into 3 or 4 players, and in fact, he'd be running into the whole team because F4Q. I'll say this: they have no lack of mid control. That's for sure. The entire team was there, and now they're looking to split into the A site. 2 players waiting. There's the pull coming into play. Mixwell able to take it for free. Door coming down. It's going to be destroyed. Oh, no, it's not. They're coming back. Evolva catches them. And look at the deep push that's come out of Nukia, with mid being held by Kellogg's as well. They've got this one crunched down on as F4Q continue forward with a man disadvantage. And Nukia, he did this in the attack pistol, and from the same position, rather, he's able to do it here on the defense pistol.
Oh, so clean as well. Again, it just looks like F4Q are just playing G2's game. Like, they're being pushed and pulled, like, moved in different directions, sent back into another player who's just ready and waiting for them to try and hit the shots. G2 are playing a great game, and honestly, F4Q, I just don't think they've turned up today.
Yeah, most definitely. I don't want to look at it too negatively from the F4Q side, because I'm looking at this from the player perspectives, and we saw it in the last breakdown that Bala did over on Bind. He was like, look at what it's like to be Bunny in this moment. And it's just impossible. Like, you are so boxed in, and if you don't have that level of synergy and you don't have those backup plans, especially if you don't know what G2 are about to do, how do you counter it? Because you are just thrown into the fray, you're completely boxed in, and you are playing their game at that point, and gaining any sort of control and having any sort of say over the round is really where F4Q are falling down. Here, though, even on an eco, they start out with the opening, although finding that weapon is going to be pretty tough.
Well, Gravwell is going to make things at least a little bit more awkward. And with the door being closed, there is a good opportunity to at least get a plant. For Athena, they've managed to retrieve themselves that extra SMG, one on every single member of the side of G2. If they win this round, it would be a miracle, but they could at least make things incredibly costly, Mitch.
That they could. This late in the game, well, that's...
He
That's maybe not the best flash by 5K. He's going to get taken down, and now we go onto the site with Zumba trying to clutch it out. Classic in hand in a 1v2. The defuse coming in, he's got to push. He's got to run right into them, and Evova's ready for it. Yeah, definitely not one of the better pieces of utility we've seen deployed. Oh, stop it. You know Joey's already queued it up as well. You know full well. He's got a 0.1 speed of it.
He just
zoomed in.
The flash in his own face.
Let go of the button a little bit too quickly, and then I think he tried to press it again to regain control. It's just a moment of panic. I don't think it would have been much of a difference maker. At most, he gets 1 kill out of it.
Like, it's not a bad round for F4Q. They made that one very costly. The only problem is just the position they're in. 11-3 down.
Sorry, Tom. Have our replay guys become less toxic? We didn't get a replay, but let's go.
It's because I said that I wanted it.
Oh, okay.
If I say I don't want to see something, then it's already in the works.
So we need to stop saying, please don't show us that, because then that just makes them show us
we've got a mind game production. That's what we got to do.
300 IQ. Well, at 11-3, things are looking good for G2. This is a bonus round with double marshals, not something you'll see all too often. A blast back play into side, and Bunny bringing that flashy play through yet again. You love to see. I don't know how does he even get there, man.
Teach me.
This guy watches too many Flights videos. Hell, maybe Flights watches his videos.
For sure. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
Bunny. I agree with him. I think he is that best raise, but can they hold on to this? Now, this is not a good purchase at the moment for G2. They basically just invested into a couple of marshals to try and make sure they had something to fight with in this round. A retake, though, seeming almost impossible, and I wonder if this is just going to become an opportunity to try and make things really costly, try and catch them on the X's. They've got 4 players now pushing up to the top mid. They have absolutely nothing to lose, so even if they exit through another angle, they can just die to the spike, not give any ultimate orbs over, and they'll have a purchase into the next round no matter what.
Oh, they're all coming, and they've no idea that Nuki is this close already. He's going to be able to shut them down for a quick double. Another kill coming in for Kellogg's. The round's already lost, but it's about damage, and there is plenty done. F4Q win the round, but get out with absolutely nothing.
Yeah, to say that's a win for G2 would be an understatement. Like, the round may go the way of F4Q, but the fact they've lost every single weapon and now G2 can actually look to come up with a purchase of their own. The majority of them didn't die to the spike either, so they gained ultimate orbs, which means you've now got one off for Mixo, you've got the resin play for Nukia as well. Like, they're in an incredibly good spot. In fact, Kellogg's a kill and actually gets himself very, very close to getting onto the Blade Storm as well. Maybe an orb can be found. So, although the buy's not that great coming in for G2, it's still an incredibly scary round for the Korean side. I
mean, F4Q have had a good start to this half, and look, they're playing with a Bulldog. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that they won the previous round, they stopped themselves from getting bonused, and now they're up against what is a pretty damn comfortable buy from G2, all things considered, especially with the fact that there's a res in play, and as you said, nearly a Blade Storm, and nearly those Seekers to play with. This is going to be one of the toughest comebacks that F4Q have faced, and we heard before, you know, they're not used to losing in the fashion that they have so far in this tournament, and this is definitely the weakest game that we've seen out of them.
Yeah, I'm looking at the other side as well. Fina getting a lockdown, that could be a difference maker. He's not in the place to get one, though, other than if he finds a kill. He's currently just lurking down the back of mid. The spike solo on B, so much more of a default as they look to try and take some control on towards short, which is currently being watched by Cordamenta. Fact is, though, I have a feeling they might be about to try and pull back a little bit off this spot as Bunny is almost just trying to sell this a bit in that direction.
G2 decided to give up all mid control. Evolva was playing here in the early round with a Spectre, so they knew that they were going to have a potential crunch on the B side, and that's exactly what's coming in. F4Q moving towards the backside, but there's 2 players there. Mixwell primed and ready with the flash. Gonna blind up his teammate. Unfortunately, Kellogg's now kind of stuck. They know that he's here. He's going to go down to the... Oh, well, he tries to pick up the rifle, but 10 seconds left. Plant needs to come in, and it will. No denial of that out of G2. F4Q look like they're about to get around on the board. Evolva rezzed up could make a difference, but the flank that's on its way surely will close this round out, and there it is. And wait for it, Tom. They got 19 health. And there it is.
We get there in the end. And for F4Q, they actually bait out a res from that. So, yeah, they've got themselves back onto the board. It's still a long road left to get themselves back into things, but that was a much better round from them. Even though there were some decent ideas put through for G2, I like the fact that they almost allowed for a pretty decent flank by having their opponents break through the door. But, yeah, the majority of kills found, baiting a few players into rotations, and of course the weaker weaponry of the Marshall trying to hold on to the back of the site wasn't really going to work. So 11-5, but all in all, it's still a very long road.
It was a hiccup as well. The fact that Kellogg's gets blinded by that flash puts them in a pretty tough position because then Mixwell's peeking by himself, and so many things that could have went differently. Now they take an eco, they're going to be happy to. Showstopper used. Bunny is, investing a lot into this round up against just pistols, but I guess that's how important it is to them. The judge tearing them apart. It does look like Nuki has managed to sneak out, though. They don't know that he's over towards the switch. Luckily, they've got an alarm bot watching for that flank.
Realistically, with the current weapons available, I'm not sure how G2 really get anything done. They've also got a Lurk holding back just in case they try and get away with any extra weapons. Nuki, though, has been able to find one, and they are looking to almost just try and lock them into this site. I'm surprised we're not seeing Zumba actually try and push in to help out his teammates, because as they try and escape, they're going to be walking into the remainder of the players. The walk back from Mixwell, though, leaves it almost impossible now for Avova, and I don't think he realizes that there's no one on the site anymore. Zumba there to close it. 11-6 for F4Q, and a clean-ish round for them as well.
Yeah, this is the one they wanted. Again, very heavy investment coming out of them, but at the same time, I don't really blame them with the way things have been going. We move into the next round, though, and considering G2 only had pistols on the previous, it is a write-off. This time, though, they have a lot more to work with. Full util, full rifles, and then you look at Kellogg's with that operator in hand. I mean, technically not full util. They don't have a Tiger over on Mixwell. That's the one downside.
He doesn't have the heal either. So, you know.
Yeah, but...
You know.
They have Nuke.
Shh. They don't have the better heal. The heal of everyone.
Yeah.
There you go. Also, well, we'll see how the ultimates are actually going to play a part in this one, because the fact that Kellogg's has decided to buy into an operator may mean that they're expecting him to be able to get an opportunity. He's also gone quite aggressive in towards B main, just looking to try and get that kill and fall back. But there we go. We finally get the lockdown put into play.
Right?
The thing is, they can just sit at the back of the site. Obviously, that's somewhere that needs to be cleared. And actually, they've just walled it off. Just like, okay, we're going to waste your time.
Now, it doesn't matter because Bunny is diving in yet again. This man is a judge main, making it work. But Avova somehow has come out with a double. The Seekers don't reveal that Bunny's down below, so he won't be able to surprise them. The nade up above, actually dealing a little bit of damage, but it's not slowing them too much. They're pursuing Bunny, knowing now that he's down below with a judge, they'll be much more cautious in taking that fight. Avova just holds for it. And now what do you do? If you're Esperanza, 1 versus 4 to try and clutch this one out. That started out well for F4Q, using their lockdown, getting Bunny onto site, and finding the
30
pick.
seconds left.
Didn't end too well.
No, Avova, I assume he found 2 off the back of the cross. Like, otherwise, I'm not really sure where he managed to find those kills from. Also, the fact that Esperanza actually has himself the spike as well. It gives a small lifeline, but with him on the Hunter's Fury, I think they were basically just hoping, like, okay, if we get an afterplant, we have a good chance here. Unfortunately for him at this stage, it's just more important to save. Make sure that you keep that economy. They survived with 4 players in the last round, but G2 are now going to get themselves to 12. 1 round needed for them to eliminate F4Q from the tournament. That'll be done for the Koreans, and more importantly for G2, that will send them into the playoffs.
Yeah, guaranteeing their spot moving forward in this tournament. No shot, man. Come on. Not only was it through the smoke, it was a pixel angle as well. He has no right to do that. Absolutely no right. And you know what the worst part is? And we've talked about these rounds before. Just those throwaways. The ones that you have to sit back and go, well, there's not much we could have done about that. How do you stop that from happening? You don't. But at the same time, 12-6, it's the worst possible time for it to be just taken out of your hands.
Funny. Aggressive start into mid. Oh, he's got to be careful. Yeah, peeking over the top. He has an angle over the top of the smoke as well, and it's almost too easy on the free kill. Jumping across a little bit risky, and it's done. No chance. Avova's actually pushing into mid as well. They're looking to try and shut this down, but he's caught. They got to be careful. Look at Kellogg's.
He is sending it, man. These guys, they know that they've won the game. They're coming in strong and hot on the final round. And what could be, unless F4Q have got a big clutch. 5K and Zumba looking to make it happen. Both on the A side as we speak. Mixwell spotted them out, and now they're ready to take these duels. They'll let them get the plant. The Cosmic Divide will fade. The door will be broken, and then they'll push in. There is zero pressure on the shoulders of G2 at this point. And if you're F4Q, you've got to make a move. You have to push into them and try to find an opportunity. 8 HP left for Zumba. This will have to be an amazing play or he'll leave 5K to do it all. That smoke is about to fade, and when it does, they'll be ready to take the duel. 5K trying to find opportunities elsewhere. Zumba manages to evade them completely, but he's only good for the one. That will be it. Done. G2 13-6 and 2-0 in the series. They will be going to playoffs.
Yeah, this is EMEA's first representative making it into the playoffs.